Hey there, guys. So, thank you for taking the time to check out this live stream. So, this live stream is going to be a little bit unique to some of the ones that I've done previously. If you've watched me in the past, or if you've watched me, on Facebook, um, I do streams, of course, various different streams throughout the week. And on YouTube, I haven't done any in a long time. I used to do streams. It was like 3 years ago that I had first done streams, but they weren't really that successful when I started doing them. And since, my YouTube has gained quite a bit of traction, what I want to do is really dive into some of the updates and some of the changes that have, occurred with my business. And I really want to be, personal and share with you guys, of course, my business in itself, but who I am as a person. I know you guys have likely seen a lot of my content. You've likely seen many of the different videos that I've posted, and, whether that be fitness content, whether that be more personal content, you've likely seen all of that. So, what I want to do today is, of course, talk about my business, but I do want to sort of discuss the philosophy of how I am approaching my business as I move forward into the future. So this is going to be, a little bit about what I have to offer. Again, this is, free for anybody to watch. There's no, this is just a way for you to understand why I do what I do, why my focus has been, the combination of, sharing my personal content along with my fitness content, and a lot of this has to do with me building a personal brand. What I'm doing is basically a personal brand. So that is, the reason why I have this combination when it comes to the content that I create. So again, I really thank you guys for taking the time to check this out. I'm going to, again, this is going to be a little bit different than if you've seen some of my other streams, because I'm going to be going over a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to discuss a little bit about the structure of, again, my business as I'm moving forward. So I'm going to share a presentation with you guys, but there's also other things that I do want to share with you guys as well. I'm going to share a little bit about, some of the ways that you can, contact me as far as my social media accounts and things of that as we go through this. Again, this is going to be a little bit different of a structure. If you've watched my streams before, I usually try to keep things as structured as possible, but just know this is going to be a little bit different than from what I've done before, because I want this to be a little bit laid back, I guess, in a lot of ways than what I've done before. So thank you guys once again. And again, what we're going to talk about today is what makes my online coaching unique. So, if you guys have seen me, or if you have watched me, you know that, I've been building a business for around 4 years at this point. I've been, building an online fitness coaching business. And of course, I'm 30 years old. So, what I want to do is introduce myself a little bit formally here on this stream. Um, so, again, my name is Brendan Parton, 30 years old. And my focus, of course, is to help out men who are LGBTQ in the LGBTQ community, who are 30 plus, gain strength, build muscle, and have more confidence in themselves. And that's my focus as I move forward in my business. And I'm going to explain why that is a focus to me at this point, in my overall journey. So as I go through this presentation, you're going to see QR code on screen. That QR code is where you can learn more about online fitness coaching. You don't have to scan that if you don't want to, but that's where you can actually go through to sign up, and do the consultation process. And then I'll contact you and we can schedule a consultation. But that's what that QR code is on screen. That's just if you want to learn more about what I have to offer. So what I want to discuss here in this slide is who I am. So, of course, I've been training clients online for 4 years. I've been primarily focusing on training men, That has been my core demographic, of course, since I've started, but I have shifted to the focus of LGBTQ men. And this is very significant for me in a lot of ways because it's very relatable to my own journey. So before I get to that, I do want to share a few other points. So again, I'm a certified personal trainer. I do have my credentials through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And I'm not just going to say that to say that. I'm going to actually show you where you can see my credentials online. So if you really want to verify that I say who I am, I will share how you get to the credentials on the National Academy of Sports Medicine website. So I am going to do that with you guys today on how you can access my credentials. And actually, any coach that is certified through NASM, there is a database where you can search all coaches who are certified. I'm going to share that with you guys so you can verify that I am what I say I am. I do have a specialization as a virtual coach through NASM. That's another sort of it's another certificate I have, but it is sort of a specialization of mine. So I primarily do focus my coaching on virtual coaching. Again, this is what I've been doing for the past 4 years. So I've gotten really familiar with it. And even though I do have my certification with NASM, my business is my own. So my business is, of course, it is my own. It is something that I'm building myself. I'm self-employed. I've been building this business for the past 4 years. But the reason why I have my certification is to, of course, show that I'm serious about what I'm offering to clients, my credibility, in other words. Because I've always been somebody who, I want to practice what I preach. If I'm going to offer something to somebody, my main focus is to make sure that, I'm real, I'm authentic, and I'm giving them what they need. Because if I'm trying to get somebody to reach a goal, I want to make sure that I can do everything I can, that I have all of the knowledge that I have, can to get them to that particular goal. And so that's why, I have my certification. So I did want to share that with you guys. I will, of course, show you where you can access where my information is. So my coaching, this is a big thing I do want to discuss. My coaching is focused on relationship building and less about creating cookie cutter programs. So with my online fitness coaching, if you've heard from any of my clients, if you've with anybody I've, scheduled a call with or talked to one on one, this is one thing I mention when I go through the consultation process and when I go through sort of discussing my program is the main sort of, I guess you could say, pillar of my online fitness coaching is about connecting with my clients. And the big reason why this is such a huge thing with me is because I've actually worked with coaches before. I've had coaches that have helped me in my own personal, growth in my business. So I know, that experience of working with a coach. And so one of the things I want to say and want to share is that again, I respect sort of the experience that I've had from coaches. But one thing that I've learned with, working with coaches online is I used to always struggle with getting access to them. And what I mean by that is I used to struggle with, when I needed help, I would struggle trying to get in contact with the right person, trying to really, okay, I need help with this. Can you, who do I need to contact? And whenever I was working with coaches online, again, I'm keeping this discreet. I'm not, bashing anybody, but based on my experience, one of the things that used to bother me is that I would struggle having access to somebody to help me as I'm trying to grow, as I'm trying to figure out this program and this process. And so the reason why I focus on this and why I emphasize so much about building a relationship with my clients is because I want them to know that they have everything that they need, that they have somebody that is there for them as much as possible to support them through the process. And you can ask anybody, any of my clients that I work with, that is a major thing with me. It's a major philosophy that I have with my business. If you are working with me, you are going to be able to contact me when you need me. Now, of course, I do have certain business hours, with my business, but my main focus is to make sure that no matter what, you have somebody you can talk to, that you can speak to, that can help you through the process of reaching your goal. And that's been my main focus, is this aspect of building a relationship with clients and not giving out cookie cutter programs. My programs are focused on tailoring to specific goals. All of my clients, when I create programs, I build those programs based on their goals. So, whether it doesn't matter what your goal is. Now, primarily, I do, really focus on muscle gain goals, but that doesn't mean I cannot help you in other ways. So, again, that's a big thing with me, the relationship side of things with my clients, as well as giving programs that are tailored specifically to your goals. So again, I've mentioned I've mostly trained men. Men has been my, primary market that I've trained. I've trained men in various ages at the same time. So since I've started, I've trained men that are around, I have, I've had a client in his 20s, I've had a client in their 30s, even a client in his 60s. So I've trained clients in a wide range of ages. So you may be wondering why I'm focusing on 30 plus. So the reason why I've sort of shifted my focus to tailoring my sort of coaching to, men who are LGBTQ 30 plus is because of the, I think as we age, I think one thing I've started to grow and started to notice as I've reached 30 is that there are so many different unique challenges that happen as we get to certain age ranges. And especially as we get to the point to, as we're aging in life, it's important to really prioritize fitness as much as possible. And I think that really, being a sort of outlet for those types of men who are really may have struggled with fitness and may have struggled with having somebody who can really understand them. And again, this is where I'm going to go into the aspect of, why I'm focusing on LGBTQ men in particular. And one thing I've noticed, since I've been building my online coaching business, is I've noticed that it's very hard to find somebody, you know, since I've been starting this, I've had to kind of do research on different how coaches do, what different types of coaches focus on, as far as how they tailor, their content and what they do. And as I've sort of researched and sort of gotten a grasp on, basically all the different online coaches that I've seen, whether it be through Instagram or other platforms, is there's not really that many coaches who focus on, men who have these unique issues, like, especially with sexuality and identity itself. So there's not really, a coach that can understand that because let me tell you, one thing about me is I'm not a dude bro type guy. Never been that guy. I never will be. And so I can never, I won't say I can't fully relate, but it just can't really relate to that type of, person. If I was to have somebody coaching me, I couldn't relate to that type of person because the way that I approach things is totally different. And so I've never been like the gym bro type guy. So my main focus has been on really helping people who are, new. And also, again, gay men, LGBTQ men, there's not really a type of coach, even in the online space, for the most part. There are a few that I've seen, but there's not many out there. So that's the reason why I've wanted to really focus on, you know, men like me who are, going through this journey, who are trying to better themselves in a lot of ways, and who are, trying to understand and trying to figure out how to make, better themselves and having somebody there to support them in their overall unique journey. So that's the reason why, I've made this my focus. So again, I am a gay man. And if you know me, if you've known me for a while, I have friends, family, they know me. They know what I've went through for many years. I've struggled with my sexuality for many years. So again, I understand the challenges of finding acceptance and understanding. If you've seen my coming out video, you likely know, a little bit about my journey. My journey is very wild. It's been a wild journey that I've been on, and it's been very hard. Again, I'm from Tennessee, so the area that I live in is not easy for somebody like me. And if you're somebody who lived in the South, if you're somebody, who has lived anywhere in the South, you know how it is and you know how hard it can be. So again, that's been a big thing with me. I've struggled for many years, and I just think it's important again to have, to have that support system, and to have somebody there who can be there, who can understand where you're coming from, and who has sort of that knowledge and that understanding of how to reach a fitness goal. So before I do go further in this presentation, I want to share with you guys where you can find my credentials. And this, you're probably thinking I'm crazy for doing this, but I want to really share this with you guys because this is something that you can access. This is for anybody who wants to learn about online coaches in particular. So this is on the NASM website. See, I'm not signed in, so this is not like personal information at all. So when you go on NASM, you can search my name, which is Brandon Parton, and you'll see all of the different courses that I've completed, and it'll show if it's valid. You'll see where, of course, the certificate ID that's there to show that there is a certificate that's been completed. That's what that means. So again, here, my certified personal trainer certification is here, and I have to get it recertified every so many years. So it stays valid. You can always look at it. If you're ever wondering on anybody who is, maybe you're trying to work with another coach and they may be NASM certified, you can do this. This is not like you're accessing somebody's personal information. This is just to show that this coach is credible. They have the credentials and they say who they are. So all you do is you can search on Google. You could do NASM validate credentials, and you just go on here and you just search by name, whoever that is that you may be working with. And again, if you're working with me, you would just search my name, and it'll show how current this is, and this is today. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I do have my certificate here. You can actually see this on LinkedIn. I have it shared there. But this is my actual certificate that I want to show you guys. Again, this is stuff that is it's not personal. It's all on my LinkedIn. It's stuff that you can see. This is to share and to show that I have valid credentials. So definitely, if you're unsure on somebody, I think that's something to, access and to really check out. So I just wanted to share that with you guys before I moved forward. Again, it's easy to access, but if you're ever unsure, and see, the reason why I share that is I'm somebody who likes to verify things. So I like to make sure that whoever I work with is, legitimate. So that's why I do that. And again, if you talk, if you ever talk to me, anybody who's talked to me on calls, they know that I like to be as transparent as possible. It's just a big thing. It always has been. And I think it's important to understand who you're working with. That's just, to me, that's just important. So I want to move forward here and I want to go over some different points here. So, again, like I've mentioned, when you're somebody who is LGBTQ, we face unique challenges that are not the same, especially as somebody who, is straight. We face challenges that are not the same. And like I've mentioned, I've went through, you know, those challenges. There's many challenges I went through. So when it comes to LGBTQ men, we know too that it's very hard, you know, especially, in the gay community with body image. We know that. So many LGBTQ men grow up experiencing body image pressure or social comparison. So again, fitness can become a powerful tool to rebuild your confidence, self-respect, and a healthier relationship with your body. Can also be a way to train for self-empowerment. So strength training and movement are not just about aesthetics. This is something I mentioned over and over again. It's about creating a sense of control, resilience, and empowerment that can positively influence your mental health in everyday life. So fitness is so much more than, again, it's not all about the aesthetics. I've seen firsthand throughout my experience of how much fitness has an impact outside of just the body image and just, looking good. I've noticed how much my energy levels change. I noticed how much, how much more confident I feel in myself, the strength that I'm able to, that I have that I didn't have before to be able to perform specific things, to lift certain weights. There's no other sort of validation like that. And again, it's very challenging for, somebody like us who has to deal with that aspect. It's very challenging, and I understand that. I understand that completely. I mean, you have all the dating apps, you have all of that. Everybody knows how it is. Um, so what I want to share a little bit is my first sort of experience with the gym. So whenever I wanted to try to get into the gym, my dad was one of the ones who tried to help me. And my dad approaches things a little bit differently than I do. So my dad's a little bit, I don't want to say he's aggressive, but he's got a more stern style with how he trains, with how he does weightlifting. And I remember when I was younger, this was probably when I was still in school. Like I was really young. And he was trying to get me, into doing weightlifting. And when I first did it, I did not like it at all. I did not like it. I didn't like his approach. I think that's what bothered me. And I'm not saying anything bad about him, but that approach did not work for me. I was not that type of person. Again, like I've mentioned, I've never been somebody who's aggressive. I've never been that type of person. And so, when I started, really getting into fitness, it took me a while. I remember it wasn't until I actually really exercised myself and kind of got out of my comfort zone and done it and did weightlifting was probably around the time when I was like 23, 24, around that time, maybe a little bit younger, but it took me a while and I had to kind of do it on my own. A lot of the stuff that I figured out I had to do on my own. I did have, basically, some of my experience from my dad. So I did have some of that because I kind of grew up around them, exercise. Like my dad and my brother were both, weightlifters. And for me, it took me a long time. Like I was just not into it. And whenever I started to sort of figure things out myself and I started to sort of understand, what it is, about how I can build a fitness routine that works more for me and not, that's not aggressive. When I understood that, it became so much, more easy. And like I mentioned, I had to learn it myself. I remember I just signed up for a gym membership and I walked in the gym and I just kind of figured it out myself as I went. And I just really, strove like I had to just figure it out. And so again, I just wanted to share that I understand the feeling because getting into the gym was the hardest thing for me. It took me a long time to really get comfortable with it. And so I understand, that feeling. So I want to continue on here and discuss about building confidence behind the mirror. So when it comes to a workout routine and when it comes to really building, you know, a good workout routine and staying structured, the big thing that you have to think about when you approach, your workouts and when you're trying to get adjusted to a routine is staying consistent and is staying, in a proper mindset and building that overall confidence. So, what you want to do, of course, is celebrate progress and not perfection. Again, this is a big thing that I focus on with my coaching. So, confidence grows when you shift your focus from unrealistic ideals to consistent effort. So, every workout, better habit, and small improvement is going to build a stronger relationship with your body. So, strength as self respect. Training your body is again a form of honoring yourself. It's, respecting yourself. So when LGBTQ men build strength and resilience physically, it often reinforces emotional strength and self-worth. So what I've discussed in some of my videos is some of my issues with, what I've went through with mental health. I've had that experience myself where I've struggled with mental health, where I've struggled with, my overall image and understanding or just, respecting myself in a lot of ways. And like I've mentioned before, I was really skinny for the longest time, and I just really couldn't, it took me a long time to really get comfortable with myself. I do feel more confident in myself now than I did before, but it took a little bit of time to sort of get to be comfortable in a lot of ways. Um, and so, I understand, especially the aspect of sort of building that confidence. It takes time to build that. It's not something that you can get to overnight. It's sort of a progression, just like I mentioned with workouts. So, like I mentioned, my focus is on training men who are 30 plus. And so there are unique differences when it comes to men who are 30 plus versus somebody who is younger. So, as we age, it does become a little bit harder to gain muscle. However, it's not completely not attainable. It is possible. So when it comes to, of course, men 30 plus, these are some of the things that are very important to prioritize. So after 30, the body is going to naturally begin to lose muscle mass over time. So it's very important to have consistent resistance training that's going to help maintain that lean muscle and support metabolism and protecting long-term physical performance. Now, again, like I've mentioned, this is not just about your aesthetics and how you look. This is also about how you really, feel your longevity as you age at the same time. Another thing that is a big priority, and again, these are all pillars that I emphasize in my coaching with clients. Another thing that's very important that a lot of people really fail to understand is focusing on recovery as much as training. So, training is very important. Of course, what we do with strength training is important, but it's also important to focus on what we do outside of the gym. So our sleep, mobility work, which is stretching, staying hydrated, and active recovery, which is staying lightly active, on our rest days, is going to be, it becomes extremely important. So growth happens not only when we're weightlifting, but also during our recovery. So quality rest and smart training frequency are always key. So we want to train with purpose and not just intensity. So again, what we need to think about is instead of chasing exhaustion, is focusing on controlled reps, proper technique, progressive overload, which means you're gradually increasing intensity in workouts, and smart programming that's going to lead to some sustainable results with fewer injuries. So these are all three different combinations that I emphasize in what I do with online fitness coaching. And so you have to prioritize each of these three different concepts to really progress in, reaching your goal efficiently. So the next point I want to focus on here is creating a judgment free fitness program. So, like I've mentioned, I've really focused on my program being a, program that's geared towards building a sense of understanding and a sense of, again, that relationship aspect, really having somebody there that is going to guide you, that understands the unique challenges that you have and can help you get to where you want to be. So, our main focus is, of course, to meet people where they are. A judgment free fitness program is going to start by respecting each person's current ability, experience level, body type, and life circumstances. So the goal is to support progress and not criticize starting points. So where we start, of course, we start at different points. Where we start is going to vary. And we all have to start at a unique point, that's, in our journey, it's always unique to us where we're at. So what we need to think about, of course, is respecting, where we're at the moment and being willing to grow as a person as we go forward. So again, the focus on my program is on progress and not perfection. So the main thing on my program is on celebrating the consistency. It's on improving habits, better form, increased confidence, and focusing on the small wins. This helps people stay motivated without feeling like they're constantly falling short. It's also important for me to use inclusive languages. The words used in coaching matter. So, replacing shame based messaging with language that builds confidence and reinforces effort. So, like I've mentioned with what I do, my focus is really to, again, create a calm environment. Yes, I do, of course, want to coach you, and I do have those moments where I am kind of stern in my coaching with my clients, but at the same time, my coaching is not to yell at anybody. It's always to create this, calm, this understanding, and this accepting environment where you have somebody that you can reach out to. So again, that is my focus, is really creating this, again, judgment-free program where you have access to somebody who understands you, where you have a community around you, and where you focus on, of course, taking things step by step and day by day. So, another thing you need to focus on understanding, of course, is sustainable muscle gain. Sustainable muscle gain is crucial, and this is especially crucial for men who are 30 plus. So, the thing we need to focus on, especially men who are LGBTQ 30 plus, is to focus on longevity over quick fixes. So, sustainable muscle growth is built through consistent habits rather than extreme diets or overtraining. So for men 30 plus, recovery, sleep, and balanced nutrition are important and become even more important for maintaining strength and preventing burnout or injury. Prioritizing strength and health together, muscle growth should support overall wellness, which is including joint health, hormone balance, cardiovascular fitness, and mental well being. The goal is not just aesthetics again and appearance, but building a body that feels strong, capable, and resilient. And again, this is going to matter as we age. It's also important that we train smarter, not just harder. So, effective hypertrophy training includes progressive overload, proper technique, as well as adequate recovery. So, programs should evolve with your body, allowing you to gain strength while also respecting recovery capacity. Another thing too, again, that's very important to be aware of is our body image and our mental health, of course, as it relates to, LGBTQ men and the LGBTQ community. Again, we face this unique challenge where it is hard to, not only have that, full, acceptance of our body, but also acceptance from others and having to deal with those mental hurdles when we're trying to better ourselves. So, again, understanding unique body image pressures matters. So many LGBTQ men experience intense body comparison due to the cultural expectations, media portrayals, and social environments. So this can create unrealistic standards that are going to impact self-esteem and mental health. So again, don't just approach fitness as a way for you to just look better. It's a way for you to build more mental strength and resilience at the same time. So, again, shifting the focus from appearance to strength, a healthy fitness journey emphasizes what the body can do and not just how it looks. So, you have to make that a focus. And fitness, again, is a mental health tool. It benefits mental health in so many ways, and it's benefited mine in a lot of ways as well. So, regular movement is going to help reduce stress, improve mood, build emotional resilience. Exercise can serve as a powerful outlet for managing anxiety, stress, and daily life challenges. So, again, guys, that is pretty much all that I wanted to share here in this presentation. And again, share what my focus is with, online fitness coaching. And again, my unique approach into what makes me different from other online fitness coaches. So, before I do close out, I want to share a few things with you guys where you can access, again, where you can access my website as well as my other social media platforms. So, you may have seen my website at this point if you've watched any of my live streams. But this is my website here. All you have to do is search bponlinefitness.com. And this is where you can access all that I have to offer. There are a few different buttons here that you can click. I have a client testimony button where it'll tell you about some of the experiences my clients have had in the online fitness training program. I also have a fitness blog that you can check out here as well that I update each and every Friday. So this is free for you to access. I also have a video section. Usually my previous streams are on here as well. And then there's a program info tab. So this is basically discussing a little bit about the structure of my program, explaining a little bit about, program design, sort of the more detailed things such as the assessment process, how you onboard into the program. Some of that is in there as well, so you can check that out. But again, you just search bponlinefitness.com. And like I mentioned with that QR code, this is actually where it takes you. So when you click on the join the team button here at the top, and it'll be the same on mobile too on the phone. When you click that, it'll take you to this consultation form, and you just begin this, you just answer the questions, and then from there I'll schedule a consultation with you and contact you within 24 hours. So that's what that's there for. So if you are interested in getting started, you just click that button there. I do want to share some of my social platforms. So I do have my Instagram. It's at Brendan SP Fit. So I update this pretty much every day. I share a ton of free fitness advice every single day. So this is all free for anybody, of course, to access. It is Instagram. So you can check out any of the videos that I do. Again, I share this, I'm always sharing content every day here. I also have a TikTok. So the reason why I wanted to share my TikTok is that I also do TikTok live streams on Tuesdays. And I've been focusing on talking about different topics on TikTok, mainly beginner-based topics. So if you're interested in, watching those, you can follow me here on TikTok. It's at Brendan SP Fit as well. One other thing that I should share as well is my group. Let me see if I can pull that. Give me just a second. So this is actually my Facebook page. You can check this out too. Um, so if you click on this group area, this is actually where you can check out where I do live streams here. So if you want to join the live here, you can you know, check out my Facebook Live. This is on the Facebook group, of course, every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. So definitely check that out. You can join the group for free. There's no, it's not like you have to. It's a public group. So you just go to search online personal fitness training with Brendan Parton and it'll take you there. So I did want to share that as well. Um, Again, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today, what I wanted to share. If you have any questions on anything I've discussed, just feel free to let me know. If you do have any questions about, anything related to online fitness coaching and, a little bit about, pricing or anything of that sort, feel free to let me know. But again, guys, I really appreciate your time, and I hope that you found this really insightful and helpful. Again, the reason why I want to do this is to really share a little bit about my focus and what I'm trying to, really accomplish with what I'm sharing. Um, and what I do want to say too is that I will be doing more of these streams every Thursday. I am going to try to decide what I'm going to focus on talking about in these YouTube lives, but I do want to do these every Thursday at 12. So definitely, make sure that you watch for these live streams. I will have them try to upload them, basically the RSVP, the thumbnail up before they go live so that you can click the notify me button before it does go live. So I'll definitely be doing more of these, and I'll have that up as soon as possible. Again, guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for really checking out all that I have to offer. If you did find this helpful, feel free to share it with anybody who may be interested in, learning more about what I have to offer. But I really appreciate your time. I hope that you found this helpful and valuable, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. So thank you guys once again.